Well, I have been sitting on this rant for a week or so, and I am about to get myself in a bunch of trouble because we're going to talk about Pete Buttigieg and his interview about trans athletes, and I'm going to agree with him, and you guys are all going to yell at me, and I'm going to tell you that you should have paid more attention in 7th grade civics. Because what Pete Buttigieg is basically saying is that the radicalization of the trans athlete issue in America has not only set back the advancement of trans athletes, but also the understanding of the LGBTQ plus community in America writ large. And the trans athlete issue did not just radicalize right-wing politics in America, it also radicalized left-wing politics in America. And that is incredibly evident by the fact that the internet is freaking out and trying to cancel Pete Buttigieg over what was an incredibly reasonable and nuanced answer to an issue that has been hijacked by crazy people. Because to his point, this is not a huge issue. It is not anywhere near as far-reaching as the political narrative in America would have you realize. There are, what did he say, 500 or maybe 100 like trans athletes in the whole country? No, wait, it was 100 out of 500,000 trans athletes. That's like nothing. So when his suggestion is that this doesn't need to be a national issue, this needs to be dealt with by local school boards and local like sports like things, that's just federalism in action, bro, right? The idea of trying to take a small issue like this and make it a giant national issue is what allows people to fearmonger on it, right? Because trans politics are kind of like new to the mainstream. Not a lot of people know or have interacted with trans people or understand the nuance of the issues. So when they hear trans woman playing trans sports, you allow some like reactionary right-wing lunatic to start talking about 400-pound linebackers and girls softball. And of course people are going to get all whacked out and weird about it. Because if you're talking about a small issue, and I'm not saying it's small to the people involved, I'm saying it impacts few people, and you try to make it a national issue, then slippery slopes take over. And now you have the right wing who is convinced that trans women in sports is like this detriment to all of women's sports because there's just this flock of trans women trying to join every girls team in the fucking country. Not fucking happening. And then you've got the left overreacting to right-wing skepticism about it, like, well, if you don't support trans women doing whatever they want, then you're just a transphobe. Or perhaps it's a complex issue that needs a lot of nuance and doesn't need to have a blanket federal policy to deal with the 100 or so kids scattered around the country that want to play sports in their local communities. Perhaps leave it to local communities to figure out with the nuance and like case-by-case necessity that shows things. Pete's point that like football and chess, not the same thing? Not the same fucking thing, bro. Making this a federal issue has radicalized both political parties.